Hey everyone, the video that you are about to see, I filmed it as a continuation to my finished February, but it does not pertain to my knitting in February because it's just swatching. I saw that it would be more adequate like a beginning of a Stashbusting series because I effectively matched all the garment quantities in my stash to projects, and that's what I'm going to talk to you in this video that you're going to see now. I hope you enjoy it, and let's go. I decided I'm going to turn this from a finished February into a started February because I have some summer projects that I still would like to get started this year at least. I don't know that I will finish them all because they are all in small needles, but they are from stash yarn, older yarn, and I like how this month I cast on 2 projects from stash yarn, and I would like to just materialize the projects I have planned for them. Wish me luck, wish me health, and see you soon. Well, before I go to my swatches, I have to show you this that I also started this month. Look how pretty this is. It's going to be a Boatneck, and I have shown you a sneak peek of this here and there. This is the swatch for it, but I already started. Look how pretty this yarn gets once it's blocked. How soft, how drapey. I love it, I love it. It's not as drapey here. You can see it's a little more stiff, but when it gets into water it will relax and everything. So I have shown you some sneak peek of that. This is a pattern named Twist from my book Co para Suéteres, Pulloveres e Casaquinhos, which means knitting for sweaters, pullovers and cardigans. And it has mostly women's clothing but some unisex or male clothing as well. I have added all of the patterns to Ravelry. I will leave the link to the book below because if you are Brazilian and you're watching this is an interesting book and you can find a lot of it still in the used bookstores. And it has usually 3 sizes, or sometimes just 1, sometimes 6, but usually 3. Not very big sizes, I should say. They correspond to today's maybe small to large, but many of the patterns there are very easy to adapt. They're super simple in construction, including this one. So this was my hack to prevent it from twisting among itself, because I have another of these balls and it's a complete mess that I will have to solve before I finish this. I have to unravel that. These yarns, it twists and tangles easily, but untangles kinda easily too, but you have to have patience. In the state my stuff got, I have to have patience to solve it. But then I wrapped it, I shoved it somewhere, and I started from the second ball. I started it around the time that I was getting the pain, a little before that, when we were having very unbearable hot days. And this is viscose, so it's very breezy and the touch is super smooth and not hot at all. So that's why I decided to work with this project. The heat attracted me to it, and I am modifying it to knit top down. So you fold 2 centimeters at the edges and you fold 2 or 3 at the neckline, and it will be a boatneck sort of like that. The patterns are 2 rectangles with just 1 indentation for the armhole here. I have started from the top, so I already have the indentation, and I will increase when I get there, or maybe just cast on stitches because I plan on knitting it in the round. So I'm going to pick up stitches here and create the back. This is the front panel so far. I may change my mind, but since it doesn't have any short rows, it's just flat, it will be for now the front panel. And I'm thinking about how I will do the back. because I don't know if I will try to add short rows here or not. I'm considering it, but I don't want it to spoil the boatneck effect, you know. In boatnecks they just go across, so I'm not sure. Maybe I will have to go into a trial and error mode. Maybe I don't add them right now, but add them in the hem of the top. Let's see. And also I'm still figuring how I will do to kind of leave the edges loose so I can fold this, or if I should leave them loose or if I should just pick them. And I'm figuring out how to add the back panel to this one, and I think this will be the only problem that I will have to modify the pattern. I chose this one to modify from bottom up to top down precisely because it was a very simple pattern and because I have little yarn. I would never knit this as long as they wore it in the 60s. I wanted to finish at my waist or just a little lower than that because it will also grow a little bit, but even if I wanted, I wouldn't have enough yarn. So starting from the bottom wouldn't be wise because I don't know how much length I will get from my yarn. And now we have some other swatches that I made in the last days of February. A lot of stuff right in my palette, you see. By now, if you follow me for a while, you already know the colors I like to wear. Well, this one, the first one, maybe this is the direction. Yes, see? Look how pretty it will be. I like dark lace for myself. This will be a top from a Brazilian book that was already in my summer plans, my 2026 plans, and I am making a series to resize a vintage pattern. And if you want, you can go with me following my shorts and resizing it with me. I will also make an entire video about this one, about the process of resizing it, because the original pattern doesn't have gauge or measurements. So I'm kinda not really rewriting it for myself, but adapting it for myself. And I'm kind of going with you through what I did, so you can adapt it for yourself as well. And that's it, so I won't talk much about this, since we will have a video for it. Then let me talk about my leftovers first. This is the leftover of my Arlington cardigan that I just finished. Can you see? I ended up with 2 full skeins and a little more of this yarn, and it was enough for a vest. So I went to search in my library and I had all the patterns by Sydney Rosewek until the end of 2024, I believe, and this was one of them. I mainly searched for yarn requirements and vintage, and then I picked this one. This is the Darrowby Vest, and it is inspired in a vest that a character, I think his name is James Harriot or something like that, wears in the British series All Creatures Great and Small that takes place in the 40s. It is very simple. It's just a stockinette with 3 cables in the front and 2 in the back. The cables are super simple. This watch was easy breezy. I finished it in an afternoon while watching a series with my mom. I got gauge. I think I got even roll gauge with this one, which is very rare. And then it's established. That's what I'm going to knit in a 4mm needle. I'm using 3.5mm for this one. Then there was this one that is also with a leftover. This is a leftover of my ranunculus. It's funny to talk about this as a leftover yarn because in fact I didn't buy it to knit the ranunculus, but this top by Kutova Kika, and I ended up not knitting that one because I found another colorway of this yarn that was much closer to what I wanted for that. So I had to use the 3 skeins I had in my stash, and I still have like more than I spent of that yarn, and it was enough for this mesh cardigan. According to the meterage on Ravelry, it was enough for a couple different cardigans. This one was the one that pleased me the most to knit with cotton, also because cotton has drape and this is a mesh cardigan, cotton is good for lace, all that kind of thing. The original is not knitted in cotton, but I believe cotton is good for spring or autumn. Let me see, are you facing the right side? I'm not even sure. I think this is the right side. But it's fairly complicated stitch. Well, it's not complicated stitch, but it has lace both sides. All of the other lace stitches that I show you today only have lace in the right side. This one has it in the right and the wrong side. So I took note of the lace repeat, and I can foresee that this will be a pattern that I have to take notes whenever I stop I have to say, oh, I stop it there. While doing the swatch, I did not memorize the lace repeats, different from what happened with this one and this one, in which I did memorize it. So this will be a mindful knitting, although it's also on 5mm. And this means that it will be a relief from others that I get here. And maybe I will finish it not so late because it's meshy, you know. I add length quickly to this one. The reason why the swatch is not as long as the others is because I was using the last bit I had from the other skin that I used for the ranunculus. So when it finished, I finished the swatch. I didn't want to cut another yarn to add here. And I will keep this all in case I need to unravel. I usually do unravel my swatches to use, but I will keep them until then for reference. Oh, I almost got gauge with this one. I didn't get exact gauge, but I got very close, and I can calculate that with my gauge that I got, I will still fall within my size. You know, I probably will get exactly my size. This cardigan comes in two sizes. I'm making the one for 33 to 35 inch bust, and I have 34. So I think I will get precisely in 34. Let's hope so. And also, it's cotton. It's likely going to stretch with wear, so I'm considering this too. Same for this one. Then I have two. These are both lace weight yarns, kind of fancy, and also in very, very tiny needles. Now let's start for this one. I'm using it for another best way pattern. This one that I always wanted to knit. It's a lace jumper in a feather stitch. I have two skeins of it, and this yarn is 80% viscose, 20% silk. It's like an icy pink, very, very light pink. It's one of the little light colors in my palette, and I just love it. This is so soft, so smooth. Unhappily, the yarn is discontinued, so all I have are those two skeins, and that's one of the reasons why I picked a lace project for that. I knitted this one on 3mm, and it's a little larger than expected. Not a surprise, because I have knitted the same stitch pattern before in this top. I made it last summer. It's from Friday Knits and a free pattern, and I had to remake that so many times because of how much it grew, although I did swatch for it 4 or 5 times. And the vintage pattern here says it stretches. Considering it's very see-through, I think that I'm going down to 2.8mm. I will start with the sleeves, and if I need, I will go up. Let's see. Same here. I think here I got 33 stitches when I need 32, something like that. I am also 1 stitch lacking in this one. This is some yarn I bought together with the yarn for my Avalon sweater. It's Swan Lake, and it's 50% cashmere, 40% fine wool, 10% angora. It's very soft and pleasant, and I picked it for this Stitchcraft jumper. You can see it here in the original colors, and now the colors I am going to make it with. I modified the picture to show. I have the red and the black in this yarn. The natural will be a leftover from my Avalon sweater, which is just 100% wool. Not the softest, but it will be in small places. I figured that for knitting something in stockinette in such a small gauge, I needed to do it with a fancy yarn. I placed a poll in Instagram, and these 4 were the options. This was the second most voted. This was the first most voted. The reason why I didn't pick it was that it's mosaic, so I would likely need a similar amount of yarn for both, and I wanted to make it in red and white, and it wouldn't be as pleasant as if I used the red and the black. So there's many concerns join it. You can see I like this kind of mosaic pattern, so I'm probably going to have other tops with it in the future, but with other yarns. The quantities kind of directed me to the Stitchcraft pattern from the issue 155 from April 1946, which is the Intarsha one. And it will also give me a lot of variety. So I did my homework. I have a lot of swatches here to show you. I'm kind of proud. I'm not a swatcher. I don't keep my swatches, but I almost want to make, see how many? I almost want to make a swatch wall, you know, those frames that people have. And the last one that I am going to show you, but I'm not going to talk much about that because it's a self-drafted project and I have so much to tell you. This is the swatch. Huge, right? Exactly because it was a self-drafted project. I have ironed it too. You can see it has some texture here, and it's for my goggle scarf that I was talking about in the last podcast episode. And yes, I have added the Morse code here. I have tried other methods. It was a nice process of development. I think I'm going to make a video only about this one too. So I'm not going to talk to you about it, only that my method worked. Once I decided one idea, and I tried it a couple times. This one is in 5mm needles. I tried it in 7mm, 6 I think, 5.5. I tried spacing the lines of code differently. Many different things, but this one was what I settled for, and happily my math worked. I have calculated even my expenditure in terms of stitches per gram of yarn, and I got this from Roxanne Richardson. Most of what I learned is from her. What I want to make, we will use exactly one skein of this yarn in each color. There is just one decision to make in this, which is the width of stripes, because this will be rainbow colored, and I don't know if I'm going to make 1-inch stripes like that end with the code, or I will make 7 sections of 5 stripes, something like that. You will see, like that. I think this might be too large, I'm not sure. I will probably have to swatch this, so I'm going to swatch just a tiny amount like that and make the different variants and see what works better, and that will be the last decision I have to make in this project before I can work on it. I'm very tempted to start working on it. Of course, I want all of this, especially the ones that are summer projects, that are these 3, even these 2, because this one is a cardigan. So this would be my priorities, probably this first because I'm making the series about it, but this will be actually the one that I will work the most right now because it's already ongoing, you know, as soon as my finger heals. And also my eglantine dress here, it's yay big, like in the skirt. And this, as soon as I get the yarn, I will work on it to have it kind of ready for our winter, suit hemispheric winter. I'm glad with the results of this month. I hate swatching, to be honest, and so having made so many, and I actually matched almost my entire stash with projects that I always wanted to make. So I'm glad about it because now I just have to cast on and store it, and it will be ready waiting for me. In my stash I still have one quantity for a bag that I bought in the beginning of the year, and I might change that because I'm not vibing with the colors I picked. I might change 2 of the colors. And I have a large quantity of the white that I am considering to use for a Shetland lace or a gossamer or Estonian shawl, something like that. I'm considering. I will weigh it, I will ponder this idea. I'm not starting it now because knitting on 1mm, 2mm would hurt my fingers, and because I have enough of swatching for now. But I'm very excited about all of this, and you will have news about me as soon as I, well, just continue. You will hear more about me, you will hear more about this if you follow along. So if you are not subscribed, subscribe, check my former videos if you just got here from this one, so you can see what kind of projects I like to make, a hint, a little bit of everything, and maybe be inspired. And that's it. I hope to keep you company in the next month, and be happy, be healthy, happy knitting. Until the next time. Bye bye.